Hello and welcome to the AI Governance channel. In this video, we are going to cover the key aspects of the upcoming European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. On 9 December 2023, the European Parliament and Council negotiators reached a provisional agreement on the Act. The Act is first of its kind in a sense that it tries to lay down a unified policy on AI for the entire Union market. There were already AI regulations for financial institutions, healthcare and medical devices, and other specific domains in the Union. Also, with increasing adoption of AI, some member states started working on their individual regulatory frameworks. This regulation ensures that the developers and organizations who are building AI systems for the Union market have to ensure compliance to this single regulation rather than dealing with multiple regulations at the state level. The proposal for this regulation started in April 2021. A number of studies, conferences, and public consultations were conducted, leading to the first draft in November 2021. This was followed by numerous discussions with different union committees, including internal markets, civil liberties, legal affairs, and others. After multiple iterations, the European Parliament adopted its negotiating position on the Act in June 2023 with 80% of the votes in favor. On 9 December, Parliament and the Council reached a provisional agreement on the Act. The agreed text will now have to be formally adopted by both the Parliament and the Council to become Union law, which is expected in early 2024. After it becomes a law, the Union is proposing a staggered adoption approach with full enforcement in 2026. We will discuss the proposed adoption timelines later in this video. The content in this video is based on information and documents available to public till December 2023. Though at this stage, major changes to the Act are highly unlikely, but a complete picture along with the nuances will only become clear once the final version is available in the public domain. This regulation adopts the OECD definition of AI, which includes all types of predictive systems, including simple regression models like predicting sales of a company to large general purpose models like GPT-4. It lays down six general principles for human centric, ethical, trustworthy, and safe AI systems. Human agency and oversight, which requires human beings to oversee the output of AI systems and take corrective actions if needed. This corresponds to the human in the loop approach while designing AI systems. Technical robustness and safety, which requires model development and testing to minimize unintended harm and resilience against malicious actors. Privacy and data governance, which requires compliance with the existing privacy and data protection rules and use of high quality data for training, validation, and testing. Transparency, which requires appropriate traceability and explainability. Diversity, non discrimination, and fairness, which requires promotion of equal access while avoiding unfair biases and discriminatory impacts. Social and environmental well being, which requires development of AI systems in a sustainable and eco friendly manner, benefiting all human beings in society and promoting democratic values. These principles form the base of all compliance requirements laid down in this regulation. One of the key aspects of the Act is the risk based approach to AI governance. Instead of proposing a blanket governance process on all AI systems, the Act initially divided AI systems into four risk categories. The first category is unacceptable risk. The AI systems which fall in this category are prohibited. An example is a social scoring system which evaluates the trustworthiness of a person based on past social behavior. The second category is high risk. These AI systems are permitted subject to specific governance. An example is an AI system used in recruitment and selection of people for employment. The third category is AI systems with transparency obligations. These systems only require that they fulfill obligations like notifying its users that they are dealing with an AI system. Chatbots and AI generated content are examples. The fourth category is minimal or no risk. The AI systems which do not fall in the first three categories are considered minimal or no risk. A simple example could be an organization using an AI model to predict its future sales. For such systems, there is no enforced governance, but the regulation suggests that general principles should be followed for all AI systems. Another important point to note is that the use case of predicting future sales might not be high risk under the regulation framework, but for the organization, it could very well be a high risk model as it directly affects the revenue and potential profits. After the December discussions, systemic risk from general purpose AI models like GPT-4 is also added to the mix. The categories of high risk, transparency obligations, and systemic risk are not mutually exclusive. For example, if you are using a large generative model in a high risk use case, requirements for both high risk and systemic risk apply to the model. Broadly, this regulation is applicable to anyone who wants to deploy AI systems in the union market and to union based organizations who want to deploy AI systems anywhere in the world. There are some exclusions to the regulation as well. It is not applicable to AI systems developed and used exclusively for military purposes. AI systems used by public authorities of a third country or international organizations under agreement with the Union for specific use cases are also excluded. It is not applicable to the research, testing, and development activities of an AI system before it is placed for use in the real world. It is not applicable to AI components provided under free and open source licenses unless they are placed in the market as part of an AI system which is governed by this regulation. Some products, which are covered under separate union regulations like marine equipment and rail systems, are also excluded from this regulation. The complete list of such systems is provided in Annex 2, Section B. Let us understand the prohibited AI systems. These systems cannot be deployed in the market except in case of exceptions which are called out. AI systems which are used for behavior manipulation or exploit specific vulnerabilities of people are prohibited. There is an exception to use such systems for therapeutic purposes under controlled environments and individual consent. Certain social scoring and biometric categorization systems based on biometric data and specific personality traits are prohibited. Individual predictive policing, which are deployed to calculate risk of offending or reoffending, are prohibited. Emotion recognition systems in workplace and educational settings are prohibited. Real time and post remote biometric identification systems are also prohibited, except for use by law enforcement with prior judicial authorization to solve specific crimes like terrorism, human trafficking, etc. The systems which are categorized as high risk can be deployed in the market subject to meeting regulatory requirements. This includes two types of systems. The first type is a list of products given in Annexure 2, Section A of the Act. This list contains products like medical devices, toys, heavy machinery, cableway installations, etc. Any AI system which forms part of a safety component for such products or is a product in itself is categorized as high risk. The second type of high risk AI systems is a list of specific use cases where they pose a significant risk of harm to the health, safety, or fundamental rights of people or significant harm to the environment. These use cases include those used in critical infrastructures like road traffic, supply of water, gas, and electricity. In an educational setting, AI systems used to evaluate learning outcomes, steer the learning process, and monitor cheating are categorized as high risk. In an employment setting, AI systems used for worker management and access to employment, including analysis of job applications and candidate evaluations, are considered as high risk. All biometric identification, categorization, and emotion recognition systems, which are not prohibited, are categorized as high risk. Certain systems used in the field of law enforcement, border control, administration of justice, and democratic processes are categorized as high risk. AI systems used in applications related to access of essential public and private services, credit checks, risk assessments, and pricing of health and life insurance are categorized as high risk. AI systems used for evaluation and classification of emergency calls are categorized as high risk. This is just a broad understanding of prohibited and high risk AI systems. As this regulation is enacted, further details to narrow down the specific use cases shall be released, possibly in the final version and also as part of harmonized standards and documents at a later stage. High risk AI systems placed on the market must comply to the following requirements. They must go through a third party conformity assessment by a certified body. This certificate would mean that the AI system is compliant with all the requirements laid down in this regulation. They also need to do a fundamental rights impact assessment and provide the results. The developers and deployers of high risk AI systems must implement robust quality and risk management systems. They should comply with the data quality and data governance requirements. They should maintain thorough technical documentation and records and register the AI system in the public Union database of high risk AI systems. They should comply with the transparency requirements and provide users with relevant information related to objecting against the use of AI system and their rights. They should comply with the requirements for accuracy, fairness, cybersecurity, and human oversight. They should also have post market monitoring in place. Harmonized standards for these requirements shall also be released after the regulation is enacted to ensure that the developers and deployers of high risk AI systems have a clear understanding of their obligations. The regulation categorizes models which are trained using a total computing power of more than 10 to the power 25 flops as general purpose AI models. As of December 2023, only OpenAI's GPT-4 and Google's Gemini are considered to fall in this category. This threshold has been set after multiple rounds of negotiation with the stakeholders and technology experts. Since general purpose AI models are pretty much in a nascent stage, this threshold can be changed in the future depending on technology advancements and expert advice. These general purpose AI models need to go through additional compliance in the form of state of the art test and model evaluations, assessment and mitigation of risk, reporting of serious incidents, robust cybersecurity, transparency on the energy consumption of these models, and oversight by a scientific panel. Additionally, there are transparency obligations for AI systems. An AI system or its deployer must inform the users that they are interacting with an AI system, which functions are AI enabled, who is responsible for decision making process, and if there is human oversight. It also calls for disclosure of generated or manipulated text, audio, and visual content, including deepfakes. Disclosure shall mean labeling the content in a way that informs that the content is inauthentic and that is clearly visible for the recipient of the content. Wherever possible, it must include the name of the natural or legal person that generated or manipulated the content. An AI system shall also communicate the rights of users as per union and national law, including their right to seek an explanation, process to object against the application of the AI system, and to seek judicial redress if needed. There is an exception in transparency obligations in case it is authorized by law or if it is necessary for the exercise of right to freedom of expression and the right to freedom of arts and sciences. This regulation shall be enforced through a set of regulatory bodies established at different levels across the Union. An AI board shall be established which shall advise and assist the Commission and member states. An AI office shall be established which shall work to develop Union expertise and capabilities in the field of artificial intelligence. It shall also contribute to the implementation of this regulation, particularly the enforcement and supervision of the new rules for general purpose AI models. This AI office is the top level body for enforcing this regulation at the Union level. National competent authorities and notified bodies shall be established to certify and enforce at the national level. An advisory forum consisting of a balanced selection of stakeholders, including industry, startups, SMEs, civil society, and academia, shall also be established. A scientific panel of independent experts shall be established to support the implementation and enforcement of the regulation. Regulatory sandboxes shall be established especially for SMEs and startups to foster innovation in AI. These sandboxes provide for a controlled environment that facilitates development, testing, and validation of innovative AI systems for a limited time before their placement on the market. As per the latest communication, this proposal shall be enacted in early 2024. 6 months after the enactment, the prohibited AI systems shall come into force. After 1 year, obligations for general purpose AI governance become applicable. After 2 years, all rules of the AI Act become applicable, including obligations for high risk use cases defined in Annex 3. After 3 years, obligations for high risk systems defined in Annex 2 shall also apply. Coming to the penalties, the maximum penalty is up to 35 million euros or 7% of the total worldwide annual turnover of the preceding financial year for infringements on prohibited practices or non-compliance related to requirements on data. A penalty of up to 15 million euros or 3% of the total worldwide annual turnover of the preceding financial year for non-compliance with any of the other requirements or obligations of the regulation, including infringement of the rules on general purpose AI models. A penalty of up to 7.5 million euros or 1.5% of the total worldwide annual turnover of the preceding financial year for the supply of incorrect, incomplete, or misleading information to notified bodies and national competent authorities in reply to a request. For each category, the threshold would be the lower of the two amounts for SMEs and startups and the higher for all other companies. Further guidelines on the administrative fines shall be available at a later date. Union institutions, agencies, or bodies will also be subject to the rules and to possible penalties. The European Data Protection Supervisor will have the power to impose fines to them. This completes a high level overview of the upcoming European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Links to the regulation text and other useful information are provided in the description. I hope this video helped you in understanding the key aspects of the Act. Now that we have covered a high level overview, what are your thoughts about this Act? Do you think that it would achieve its purpose of promoting the development of ethical, safe, and trustworthy AI, or become just another regulatory requirement to stifle AI innovation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.